right, so this video and recipe comes from the Disney Parks Cookbook, and it comes inspired from Hollywood Studios, and it's from Woody's Lunchbox, and it's called Totchos. So I'll take the picture here of it. So it's basically loaded tater tots, or they call them potato barrels, but I've always called them tater tots. Full disclosure, I've eaten at Woody's Lunchbox before, and I've had the breakfast tachos, which I thought were pretty good, but I've never had the savory dinner ones, so I have to try them sometime when I go. Anyway, so this is basically a few step recipe. You basically go out, you buy your tater tots or potato barrels, you make a chili, you make a queso, and you buy a few other things, and you stack them together in kind of a dish. And one of them is Fritos, which I'm not a big fan of Fritos, but I'm gonna try it and we'll see how it turns out. So here I'm making the chili part of the tachos, and I'm browning the hamburger and adding a little bit of onion to the mixture, stirring it around. And yes, when I made this, it was in the evening. I was done for the day and in my pajamas already. Adding a little bit of garlic. While the hamburger is brown in the back pan, I'm making the queso, which is just basically a cheese sauce with a can of tomatoes and chilies. Now that the hamburger is browned, I'm getting ready to add the rest of the chili ingredients, which include the tomatoes, or diced tomatoes, and a tomato sauce, followed by the beans, and all of the spices. Now I'm mixing all the chili ingredients together, and I need to let it simmer for about 20 minutes or so on the stove. While that's simmering, I'm going to cook my tater tots. All right, and now the tots are done and I am ready to assemble. I'm adding the Fritos on top of the tots in the bowl. Then I added the chili. Now the queso sauce goes on top of that. Want to get a nice even amount. Some shredded cheddar cheese. And then I'm getting ready to finally top it off with some sour cream. And there you have it. All right, so there was me putting together the tachos. I actually made them yesterday, which I should say, and I'm doing the follow-up the day after. First of all, first impressions on food, I really liked them. They were very tasty, very yummy. Even the Fritos, which I'm not a huge fan of, you couldn't really get that Frito flavor. It was covered with all the other flavors, and it had this nice little crunch to it, which I really, really liked. So big hit in my house. Me and my husband both really enjoyed them. We thought they were tasty. Obviously not the most healthiest thing for me to serve for dinner, but it was a cold wintry night and it just seemed to fit perfect for that evening. So we really enjoyed it. And I definitely am gonna have to probably try the Hollywood Studios version next time that I'm in Disney and see how it is. And I want to say something too about these. I think these would be really great to have something fun, like for either your kids or if you're maybe doing like having some people over, or like a Super Bowl party or something. I think this could be a really fun thing that you could do, like a tacho bar, you know, have some tots and some different seasonings and stuff like that. And nothing was too super complicated to make, I didn't think. But that being said, I'll get into my ratings. And the first is the ingredients on a scale of 1 to 5. And I'm just glancing at them. And this is more about cost and how hard these ingredients are to find. First of all, none of the ingredients are hard to find. You know, everything is really simple. You can find it in your store, but there's a little bit of money involved in this. You know, you've got to buy the stuff to make the chili. You've got to do the queso sauce. You've got to get the tater tots. You've got to get, you know, some of the other topping options. So I'm going to give it a 3 just sheer out of cost, because most of the stuff you're probably not going to have in your household and you're probably going to have to go out and buy it. Obviously some of the things you might, but yeah. And some things weren't super, super expensive, but it does add up is what I'm trying to get to the point with that on it is. Difficulty ranking on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being super easy and 5 being difficult. You know, I think I'm going to give it like a 3 as well. I don't think it was super hard. Like I said, there are a lot of steps involved because you've got to make the chili, make the queso, And then, you got to cook your tater tots in the oven, then get your things together and kind of layer it all. But none of it was hard, like the chili, you basically brown some hamburger and then, you dice up an onion, add it, and then you add your other ingredients, and it's nothing super complicated. In fact, the chili recipe, I have to comment, was very similar to a classic chili recipe that I just normally make in general in my crock pot. It was definitely pared down, a few less ingredients and things like that, but it was very similar to that. So I don't know, I think it was hard. Even the queso sauce, you just kind of mixed a couple things in the pan together, some queso and stuff. So nothing was super hard. It's multiple steps. So that's why I'm going to put it right in the middle at a 3. And then would I make this again on a scale of 1 to 5, with a 1 being never and a 5 being absolutely? I think I'm going to give it like a 3, 3.5. So I can definitely see myself doing this again. And like I said earlier, I really think this is something I may do when we have people over. Like, we like to do game nights every so often, like not as much as we used to, but a couple times a year. I'm thinking this could be really fun to serve for that, or having people over. For just me and my husband, it might be a little too much to kind of put together. So that's why I'm kind of giving it like a 3 in the middle. Like, I could definitely see myself making this again, and I probably will, but it'll be one of those things I save for when people come over. So it's not going to be something that I'm going to make that often. So I want to put it right in the middle. But yeah, I enjoyed this. And if you like loaded tots, I highly recommend making these from the cookbook.